Hi there, and welcome to this short overview of the Starting Your Business course that I'm currently doing through the Open Polytechnic. And I'm actually just going to review each of the modules. It's made up of 4 different modules. There's 3 separate assessments, and they all have to do with helping small businesses either get started or to manage themselves through the different phases of the business life cycle. The course is aimed at businesses, smaller businesses, so less than 20 employees. But there are obviously some principles that really have to do with any kind of business and any size business, really. So I've just recently completed module 1, which is all to do with business planning. And kind of the way it's described in the course is that think of it as a jigsaw puzzle, that there are all these different pieces that seem kind of disjointed, but actually they all kind of come together when it comes to planning your business. And obviously business planning is not something that only someone would do before the business actually starts. It's something that a business owner would quite possibly have sort of a regular cadence for doing it. You know, maybe every 3 months or 6 months or every 12 months, review kind of their business plans. Now, business plans include a lot of different things. As I mentioned, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and the course does a really good job. The first module of the course does a really good job of kind of covering each of those points in enough detail without kind of overwhelming you of what's involved. And this includes a lot of different things from not just analyzing kind of the marketplace and kind of economic conditions, the political climate, technological advances, your competitors, but other things as well, like the potential risks that you may encounter further along, and also thinking about some of the things that you want to define your business. So not just in terms of like selling a product or a service, but thinking about kind of business personality. So what are some of the guiding principles or values of your business, and how do your objectives kind of help you to achieve that? What is your purpose, your mission statement, your value statement, vision statement, all these sorts of things. So there's a lot of different things that it covers, and it's really helpful in terms of like just giving a really good overview of what's involved in thinking about starting a business. So while it might sound boring and like this is more work than you're really interested in doing, it's actually a really good process to go through. And the course, from a student's perspective, it's excellent because it doesn't go into too much detail. It has a glossary, so it explains kind of a lot of terms that perhaps if you don't have a business background, it explains these terms in nice, kind of clear, simple, plain English. So it's a really good way to kind of get stuck in and kind of see the benefit and the value in planning a business, and kind of like scanning your environment and giving your business the best chance of surviving, because as we all know, like it's very difficult for small businesses. You know, I think statistics say that 90% of small businesses fail within the first 12 months. So obviously anything you can do to improve the chances of your business surviving are worth doing. And this course in particular is really good at that. And the first module, which I've just completed, and now I have an assessment to do on that first module, really help to explain not just what is involved with business planning, but the value of it as well. So just briefly showing you, this is kind of the home page for your course. So obviously, I'd encourage anyone who is a business owner to do these types of courses. And it's quite possible that you may actually be able to do this course through the Open Polytechnic for free. If you're a New Zealand resident, and I think if you meet some certain criteria, then you can do this course for free. And it's an excellent use of your time as a business owner. I understand business owners are busy, but you should never be too busy for things like continuing professional development and investing in kind of the strategy and the planning for your business. It's gold. You know, don't get so stuck in the weeds that you don't have time for important things like this. So in terms of module 1, here is just an overview. You can see, and this is one of the things I like about courses through the Open Polytechnic. They're very good with their distance learning and their online courses. They're all structured in a very logical fashion. And as you can see here, we've got module 1, and I've expanded on the different subjects that are covered: business plan. So, and then all the sort of subtopics there, the introduction, the structure, an example of a business plan, so you can see what the finished product looks like, case study and question. So there is some interactivity and some references you can look at. Strategic plan, so this is getting into a bit more of the detail with regard to how you might plan your strategy in terms of trying to achieve your objectives. Environmental scanning is not to do with the natural environment. This is just the environment your business is operating in. And it covers a lot of things. A lot of you might be familiar with SWOT analysis, but there's also PEST analysis, which is looking at other things like the political and economic and socio-economic climate that your business will be operating in. And a lot of these things are things beyond your control, but they're still things that are important to consider with regard to how your business will perform in the future, and maybe ways that you can kind of cushion the impact of some of these effects, whether it is, for example, a downturn in the economy or a change of consumer habits that might impact on your business. So how can you best try to mitigate the negative effect of some of these things? The business cycle, so like a product has a life cycle, a business does too. So obviously you have the startup phase, and then you're growing and you're expanding, and then there's sort of this, you go through that whole process. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that your business will die, because at the end, you can go into what's called transition phase, which is where you go into another cycle. And then there's a summary as well. So as you can see, the 4 modules of this course, and I'll be talking about modules 2, 3, and 4 later on, but that's just a nice introduction to the first module for this Starting Your Business online course through the Open Polytechnic.